Hari Om, welcome to this class on Kathopnishad. We are into the second Valli of the second chapter. We start with the chanting first, of course. This is the 27th class in the sequence. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Gananam Tva Ganpatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastavam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anam Shinvannuti Sadhanam. Om Shri Mahaganpataye Namaha. Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Reva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we are into the second chapter, second Valli, the eighth mantra. We had looked at the seventh, which was about the karma and the yoni, the different births that we go into when we end this life on earth. Yoni manne prapadyante shariratvaya dehinaha sthanu manne anusayyanti yatha karma yatha shrutam. So according to our previous karmas, according to our previous thoughts or vrittis or desires, we are entering into different kinds of birth. So yonim anne prapadyante, those who have done some good karmas, they enter the good births, and those who don't, they enter into the sthanu manne, they enter into the sthavar, the plants and all the other yonis. And of course, the yoni where we discussed where stones and other non-living things are there, those are also yoni, but they are different in the sense that they don't have any kind of movement, activity or thought. So therefore, there the sukshma sharir is not there, or you can say in a very rudimentary form. So that body is held together by the devatas, the devata of that entity. So now we are looking into the eighth verse. Ya esha supteshu jagrati kamam kamam purusho nirmimana tadeva shukram tad brahma tadeva amritam uchyate tasmin lokashritaha sarve tadu natyeti kaschana etat vaitat ya esha supteshu jagrati kamam kamam purusho nirmimana तदेव शुक्रम तद ब्रह्म तदेव अमृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकाश्रिता सर्वे तदु नात्येति कश्चन एतद् वै तत्. So एषः य एषः, this jiva, this consciousness, you can say, this consciousness, supteshu jagarti, this consciousness, it remains awake even while the jiva or the sukshma sharir is sleeping, when our subtle body is gone to sleep. And kamam purusho nirmimana, and then in the dream state it also manufactures all the objects of the dream. And that infinite consciousness, tadeva shukram, it is purest, it is very pure, without any trace of any kind of uh, impurity. And tad brahma, that consciousness is not just your individual consciousness, it is Brahman, it is the infinite consciousness. As I repeat again and again, bear in mind, when I say consciousness, you mentally adjust it to Brahma. Brahma means Sat Chit Anand Roop. So their consciousness existence, bliss. Bliss is basically the infinite aspect of both these two, but they are both one and the same only. But for our understanding, because in the world, they both project as different entities. So when we understand that first consciousness is infinite, then existence is also infinite. There can't be two infinites, so both are one and the same only. And tasmin loka shrita sarve, within in that consciousness, since first of all he has removed the limitation for the body, that the consciousness is everywhere, and then we might think about any range. So no, tasmin loka shrita sarve, all the lokas, all the universes that you can imagine, they are all situated within that consciousness. That means it extends beyond sarve tat u na atyeti kaschanah. So all of them definitely they do not tat u, they do not exceed na atyeti. They do not go beyond that. Kaschana, not even a little bit. So these all these lokas, all these multiple universes, they do not exceed. So we'll just look into the the concept of this consciousness through आश्रिता is आश्रित, मतलब सब उसमें आश्रित है. All the lokas are dependent on it. They are included within it, right? So basically what we look at is in the next 4 verses, it is the essence of this consciousness is the essence of everything. So let us say this blank page is the consciousness. Again, remember, I'm talking about Brahman. So this consciousness is projecting the whole world. So all the world is going to be projected. So when it starts projecting, it expands. And first, from it, Akasha comes. So this big square that is there, that is actually fully Akash in the beginning. And then it splits up into further parts, Vayu, Agni, Jala, Prithvi. So you can divide them into the 5 elements, right? And then since the rays of consciousness are everywhere, so they fall on these, so they become reflecting mediums, right? So this is the basic reflecting medium, the first elements. Then of course, because within that consciousness are an infinite number of jivas. If it is infinite, then it will also have the ability to project different jivas. So we saw earlier that different jivas are born. So sometimes we say that how they are increasing. So that is how they're increasing is that it's not that the number of jivas are less or more. They are infinite, but they will be projected according to the time and place that they are destined for. जैसा उनका प्रारब्ध होगा उसी के अनुसार वो जन्म लेंगे. So that is why the jivas keep getting born, and then at the time of pralayam all will be finished, everything will die. So this consciousness is projecting this world, and the 5 elements are formed. Out of them, these 5 elements, this body is born. So this is the human body, which is you can say into 3 entities: gross body, subtle body, and causal body. So this is the adhishtan. This is the substratum for the entering of the through which the consciousness expresses itself. Or you can say the consciousness is the adhishtan, and within it these 3 bodies exist. So when it reflects of these bodies, then it is called the reflected consciousness, right? This is called the reflected consciousness. So this reflected consciousness, when it appears, it is able to project different worlds and different. So this bodies that we are talking about, we saw it is at the different level. It is at the bodies are at the individual level and also at the total level. So it is Jiva and Ishvara, both levels. So this also we can depict in this way, that this consciousness, since it is everywhere, we saw the original consciousness. So I am drawing it here in a circle or a oval shape, but actually you can imagine it is everywhere in this page. So this original consciousness is now falling on the different bodies that have come. So different bodies that have come. So first is at the individual level, you can say the Sthul Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, and Karan Sharir of the of the jiva. So there we give a technical name, the medium, the reflecting medium 1, reflecting medium 2, reflecting medium 3. So RM1 is Sthul Sharir, RM2 is Sukshma Sharir, RM3 is Karan Sharir of the individual. And each of these, when the consciousness reflects of them, we give a name to that consciousness also, because it will take the shape, na? It will take the shape of this reflected medium. ना उसी से reflect हो रही है, right? So therefore it will take that shape only. Like we are using a mirror, then if we are using a round mirror, we get a round reflection. And the original reflection is uniform. You can't see differences in that. But here you can separate it, that the reflection, right? So it will be dull, bright, depending on the reflecting medium. So these reflecting mediums, which are born out of that original consciousness only, they will reflect. So when this uh, one reflecting medium 1, the consciousness that is reflected from it, we call it RC1. It is called Vishwa. We give it the name for the reflected consciousness of the Sthul Sharir of the Jiva is Vishwa. And then for Sukshma Sharir RC2, it is Tejasa. Then RC3 for the Karan Sharir, the reflected consciousness is named Pragya. We saw all this earlier. I'm just repeating this so you can keep the concept fresh in your mind, right? And then finally, at the total level, you can say instead of Sharir, we use the word Prapanch. Prapanch means the total. So we have the Sthul Prapanch, which is the body of the Lord, Ishwar ka Sharir. So here we name it the reflected consciousness that is reflected of the Sthul Prapancha is called RC4, reflected consciousness 4. The name is Virat. Right. Then Sukshma Prapancha, the subtle body of the whole universe, that is reflected consciousness will be RC5, and we call it Hiranyagarbha. Right. And then finally, the reflecting medium 6 is the causal body of the universe, Karan Prapancha. So here the reflected consciousness is RC6, which we name it as Ishvara. So all these are actually one same consciousness, which has divided into these different medias, and then when it is reflecting, it is appearing as taking different size and shape according to the reflecting medium. जैसा जैसा रिफ्लेक्टिंग मीडियम है, जैसा जैसा शीशा है, जैसा जैसा कांच है, however is the reflecting glass, according to that different images are formed. Small, large, deep, sharp.
या भी बोला कि 5 तत्व के ऊपर जब रिफ्लेक्ट होता है तो तब वो जो RM1, RM2, RM3 बनता है, तो जब RM4, 5, 6 होता है वो किसके ऊपर रिफ्लेक्ट होता है?
पांचों तत्व पे रिफ्लेक्ट हो रहा है, तो सिर्फ वो पांचों तत्व दिख रहे हैं. They are, when the consciousness is reflecting on the 5 elements, they are perceptible, है ना? But they will not perform any function as such. So they will unite to form the different bodies. All the bodies are made up of the 5 elements. So when they unite from the 5 bodies, then these 5 elements, they will produce these different bodies at the individual level and at the total level. So from there also the consciousness will reflect, right? So when it reflects, then there the movement will come, because there you have you have the Sukshma Sharir. So Sukshma Sharir will power the individual body, gross body, right? So from the Sukshma Sharir, and why does the Sukshma Sharir reflect? Because through the Karan Sharir, through the causal body, which has different vasanas, it will get a different birth. Out of those vasanas, some will be ready for getting fructified. उनका फल आना का समय हो गया. So when they are ready to get fructified, then these vasanas will become the medium by which we get our prarabdha, our total karma phalam that we have to bear for one birth. From that we get the birth. So then the birth forms, right? So in this way, let's get back to the verse again now. So now ya eshah supteshu jagarti, kamam kamam, purusho nirmiman. So in this way, this consciousness now is, which is in the form of the total consciousness, but when it is reflecting through through each individual, it is appearing restricted to that individual. उतना ही लग रहा है. So here, what is Brahman here? Here, Yam Dharmaraja points out first that Brahman is the Chaitanya. Brahman is the Chaitanya, the consciousness principle, which resides in every individual. And therefore, it is called Purushaha. Kamam kamam Purushoha nirmimana. So therefore, it is the Purushaha. What is Purushaha? The definition, one of the definitions for Purushaha, Pure Shete iti Purushaha. So the one that sleeps within this body. But does he sleep? He is saying no. Supteshu Jagarti. So that means he resides there. So the Sha Dhatu also means something that resides. So it means that way. And then another meaning of Purushaha is Puranat Sheti. So there also it means some entity that is in itself complete, and then it appears limited by the medium. So that is Purushaha. So that is why in Purush Sukta also we saw the Purushaha as a reflection enters the body, the gross body, right? The Virat Purusha. And therefore then it enlivens. Tabhi usme jaan aati. So Purushaha is the consciousness functioning within the body. So therefore, like in the first mantra of this section also we saw in second 221, so Puram Ekadasha Dwaram, so Ajasya Avakra Chetasa. So there the body was compared to the Puram. The body is like a city, and Shaha means the indweller or resident. So therefore here Purusha you can take in this way is the indweller of the body. And what is that indweller? The Chaitanya, consciousness, right? So now what does this consciousness do here? Jagarti. So consciousness is one principle which is always awake. बेचारे को सोने को ही नहीं मिलता है. So which it never goes to sleep at any time. So, and which always it will illumine anything that is in front of it without any obstruction, always. So unlike all the other organs, like our Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, no, they will, the other organs are awake at times, sometimes they are asleep. So when they are asleep, they will not be illuminating. So awake means illuminating the objects. And asleep means not illuminating the objects, right? So that is the difference. So now the sense organs, they illumine the world when they are awake, and in the deep sleep state, the sense organs have folded. So when they are folded, that is why even though the ears are open, what is happening? We are not hearing the sound. हमें सुनता नहीं है. Someone is shouting, someone is saying, get up, aren't you hungry? You went to sleep without having your food. We don't hear. So mom will come to you and wake you up, and you will not wake up. So even though you might be having some rumbling in your tummy inside. So therefore, even though the ears are open, we do not hear. Even the mind has folded. So therefore, it is not perceiving the objects. So therefore, what is happening? Mind and sense organs are temporary wakers. Temporary wakers. Or you can say temporary illuminators. कभी कभी प्रकाशित करते हैं, कभी नहीं. Then what about the consciousness? It is an illuminator permanently. What is meant by that? When the mind is active, the consciousness illumines the active mind. When the mind is active, the consciousness illumines the active mind. And when the mind has gone to sleep, the consciousness illumines the sleeping mind also. By sleeping mind is meant that blank experience that you have by sleeping. कुछ भी नहीं जान रहा हूं मैं. I'm knowing nothing. So by sleeping mind is meant the blank experience. Therefore, the ever-effulgent consciousness is inside the body. Therefore, Yamadharmaraja is saying here what? Jagarti, ever awake. And when Supteshu, when all the organs, when all the indriyas, they have gone to sleep. That is why when the mind does not know anything in sleep, I say, I did not know anything in sleep. मैंने कुछ भी नहीं जाना. So then I ask you the question, do you know that you did not know anything in sleep? Do you know that you did not know anything in sleep? So you say, yes, I know, because the consciousness was there. So you can say, yes, I was sleeping, but in that time I was not having any experience. So that means you know that you were not knowing anything in the sleep. So in the waking state, I know that my mind is knowing the world. Therefore, the knowledge is known and ignorance is also known. In the deep sleep state. In the deep sleep state, I am just knowing the ignorance. I am not knowing the objects. So that is why we call it objectless knowledge. Right? So there, the vritti, the thought has objectlessness as its object. So what about the consciousness? This consciousness, I am the eternal illuminator of the knowing mind as well as the non-knowing mind, right? So the illumination is always there, but it can be of the knowing mind where objects are being known, or it can be of the non-knowing mind where the objects are not being known. So that knowing and not knowing belongs to the mind, but the illumination is always there. So ya esha supteshu jagarti. Right? So I know that I know, and I also know that I don't. Both cases, this consciousness is present. Right? So when I say I know that I know, it means I know that the mind knows. And when I say I know that I don't know, it means that I know when the mind does not know. So in short, I am the ever effulgent, evident consciousness. Right? And what else do I do? What else does this consciousness do? Nirmimanaha. At the time of dream, not only I am the evident consciousness, but I create an inner world also through the mind. So I am the creator of inner universe through my vasanas and samskaras, nirmimana. So how kamam, as I like, without any restraint. No restraint. Prati kamam, yakamam. So thus, I am the creator of the inner world at the time of the dream. And how is this world being created? I myself create this world. I myself create this world. So just like this external world at the time of waking is created by the active mind again. So thus the consciousness, am creator of both the internal world and the external world. So kamam purushoha nirmamanaha. So in the you can say in a way, in the dream state, the individual mind is doing the job of creation, right? But in the waking state, Ishvara is doing the job of creation. So, but here we are talking about the total consciousness. So it is available for both Ishvara and for the Jiva. So, kamam purushaha nirmimanaha. So therefore, this consciousness is responsible for everything that is created. Which we saw in the diagram also, no? Through the consciousness, everything is projected. Small or big, doesn't matter. So what is the specialty then of this consciousness? Tadeva Shukram. Tadeva Shukram. That I, the consciousness, I am ever pure. Shukram, very, very pure. Shukr, we say white also, no? Or something that is glowing. So even the mind, the body, and the world, they may be impure. But I, the illuminating consciousness, I am always ever pure. So tad Brahma. That is all. That consciousness is also Brahman. So this is a Mahavakya. Your consciousness is the same as that Brahman only. So your unity, your oneness with the Brahman is being mentioned here, right? So this Tad Brahma represents this oneness. So therefore, here what Yamadharmaraja is saying, he says that it is in the body as well as outside the body. The consciousness is in the body as well as outside the body. Inside as my consciousness, outside as Brahman. So in effect, he's saying both are the same. So if somebody asks, like if you can say in the example of space, so if you're taking the example of someone says, where is the space? So first, to make you understand, I will say this space is in the hall. So once you have understood this clearly, then I say the space is outside the hall also. I will say the space is outside the hall also. Once that is understood, then I say space is neither inside the hall nor outside the hall, but everything is inside the space. So the space is not in the hall is in the space. That is the correction we have to make. So similarly, here also apply the same rule. Here also consciousness is inside the body as well as outside. So once you understand that it is all pervading, then Tadeva Amrita Muchyate. Yeah, that means it is never dying, immortal, everywhere, without any limitation. Huh? So just as what happens when you break a house or the walls are pulled down, does the space disappear? Space doesn't go anywhere. No, space is still there. Right. So once you destroy the body, then this consciousness also doesn't disappear. So space is there when the hall is, space is also there when the hall is not there, or when it is destroyed or pulled down, right? So when a house or some room or whatever is even, modified, that doesn't mean the space that was there, it goes away. Space is still there. So in earlier also in the Upanishad we saw, no, in the first chapter, second Valli, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This same mantra is also there in the Gita in a slightly different form. So this body, this consciousness does not die with the death of the body. So when this body consciousness goes, when this body goes, the consciousness, it does not go. Therefore, it is called immortal Brahman. And not only that, not only just that inside and outside thing, what is the mantra saying? Sarve loka tasmin ashritaha. So, tasmin shritaha. All the bodies, all the lokas, entire universe is in that consciousness. So how did we begin? Consciousness is in the body, Purushaha. And now we slowly move outside, and then finally everything is in the consciousness. So now we conclude consciousness is not in the body, but the body is in the consciousness. So, and as we said, not only this body, Sarve Loka Tasmin Shritaha. So Sarve Loka Tasmin Chaitanya Rupe Atmani Shritaha. In the form of consciousness, they are all included in that consciousness. And Kaschan Tadu Na Atyeti. Nothing. Kaschana, not even the smallest bit of thing. Kaschana Na Atyeti. Nothing in this creation exists beyond that consciousness. You cannot say that this is the consciousness, something is existing a little bit outside. Let me go and search. Maybe I'll find something also. You will not. And there is no limitation. So just as no object is beyond space, similarly, nothing is beyond the consciousness. And consciousness is what? It is Brahman. And that is the Atma inside you. In fact, that is the Atma which is you. So don't say inside. Don't say that Atma is you. Don't say that outside that Atma is you. Therefore, the conclusion is I am the consciousness within which the whole world is resting. So there is a mantra. मयि सकलम जातम मयि सर्वम प्रतिष्ठितम मयि सर्वम लयम याति तत्र मद्वयम अस्मयहम. गीता दी कहाँ से है? विच उपनिषद और वेयर फ्रॉम? मयि एव सकलम जातम.
Kevalupanishad.
अरे वाह, वेरी गुड. So it's Kaivalya Upanishad, yes, the 14th mantra. So मयि एव सकलम जातम. From within me, everything from within me, everything has arisen. And Mayi Sarvam Pratishthitam, everything exists upon me. And Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati. Within me, everything will merge. Tad Brahm Advayam Asmi Aham. That infinite, non-dual Brahman, I am. The best mantra for meditation. So when you meditate, when you just run this in your mind, all the information you need to see yourself as consciousness, Mayev Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam Pratishthitam, Mayi Sarvam Layam Jati, Tattvam Advaya Asmaya. So this is the declaration of a Jnani. Whole world rises in me, whole world rests in me, whole world dissolves in me. Exactly as a waker from the dream can say that the whole dream world is born out of me, whole dream world rests in me, whole dream world dissolves in me. So now we are thinking, right now, no, we are under the misery of samsara. We are thinking, I am a miserable individual in the world, which is samsara. And if you take the correct knowledge, the world is in me. That is moksha. Small difference, small change needs to be done. I am in the world is samsara, and the world in me is moksha. So etad vaitad. This is the knowledge you had asked. Shilpa ji, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir. Sir, ये जो मंत्र आपने अभी बोला
जी
कि
जी.
you should meditate on this. Where can I find this? उन्होंने आंसर कर दिया गीता जी ने, मेरे को समझ नहीं आई है.
कैवल्य उपनिषद, कैवल्य उपनिषद।
केवल्य उपनिषद, ओके, मगर कहाँ मिलेगा ये एग्जैक्ट दिस थिंग?
ऑनलाइन
क्या है?
सर्च कर लीजिए। हाँ,
कौन सा नंबर, क्या दिस थिंग?
ये
आपने तो
कैवल्य उपनिषद।
ग्रुप में डाल देंगे।
हाँ, मैं डाल दूँ, मैं डाल
प्लीज प्लीज, थैंक यू। हाँ जी।
दूँ। So, etat vaitat, this is the one you wanted to know. This is the information you were seeking. What is your, whatever is your third boon, that this consciousness you were seeking to know, right? So, as we have seen, this is going in a serial. The sixth mantra we saw onwards. Yeah, this Yama Dharmaraja promised to deal with two topics. One is what happens to an ignorant person after death, that is Agyani, and the second topic is that he would say more about Brahma Swarup, right? So more, so even though it is Durvigyayam, difficult to know, extremely subtle topic, but he said, I will tell you more about it. So having promised these two topics, the first is of Jivagati. That was dealt in mantra number 7. And so there Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. So, and then this is the helpless lot of the Samsari Jivaha. And then from beginning, from the 8th mantra up to here, we have seen that Yama Dharmaraja has revealed that Brahman is not a new entity that I want to reveal. I have told you earlier, but he has connected it beautifully as my own consciousness, which pervades not just this world, but everything beyond this world also. And which is intimately available in your own body-mind complex. कहीं बाहर ढूंढने नहीं जाना है. You don't have to go somewhere else to search for this. So therefore, Brahman is not a new entity. It is nothing but the name of the Chaitanyam, right? What type of Chaitanyam? Avastatraya Sakshi Chaitanyam. The consciousness which illumines the external world in the waking state, which illumines the internal world during the dream state, and which illumines the absence of both the external and internal world during this sleep state. That consciousness alone is called Brahman. So how is this consciousness known to me? This consciousness is already known to me or to us in the form of Aham, the very I itself. So even though this consciousness is not a new entity, so we have seen it multiple mantras, right, from the beginning. So this consciousness we have understood, intimately known to me as I, the consciousness principle, and this is the consciousness that is aware of all the states. So Jagrit, Swapna, Sushupti Avastha, all it is known. So that is why we call it Turiya. So Turiya is not something fourth, which is actually the dictionary meaning of Turiya, but something which includes everything. Right? So all the three states rest on this Turiya Avastha. I, the experiencer, am the witness. I am Brahman. So therefore, Yamadharmaraja is concluding by saying, Tadu na atyeti kaschana. Nothing exists beyond this Brahman. It is this Brahman which you wanted to know through the third boon. Up to this we have seen here. So next we go on to the ninth one. अग्निर्यथेको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूवः एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्चः. Once more. अग्निर्यथेको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्चः. So this Agni example is given here. In the next two verses, we'll also see the Vayu and light, Surya also. So all these examples of bit less subtle entities than the consciousness, and yet showing their all-pervasive nature. So uh, uh, all these mantras right from this 8 up to the end of this section, very important mantras, because all these are revealing Brahma Swarupam or Atma Swarupam, which is the central theme. So therefore, everyone of this mantra is important. These mantras all are very important. Of course, I keep saying about lot of the mantras, but yes, Upanishad is always, most of the mantras are important. But some of them, no, it is said to memorize. So what does he say in this mantra? In the previous mantra, it was pointed out that Brahman is nothing but the consciousness which illumines or which is aware of everything in the creation. So what is the form of this consciousness? Is there a form? Consciousness is in the formed body, but consciousness itself is formless. It is in the formed body means the body with form. But consciousness itself is formless. So now this consciousness obtains in the formed body, but consciousness itself is formless. This idea is conveyed through an example here. So what is the example is like the example of light. So the light which illumines this room or this hall, which we call as Prakasha Tattvam, that principle of light is pervading the entire hall, because of which alone the hall is bright now. You can see my face, you can see the background and all, and wherever I turn my camera, you can see the room. So we are able to take it in. So now, what will happen if the light goes away? This light alone pervades every inch of the hall. So what is when the light will not be there, you will not be seeing anything. It will be dark, right? So what is the shape or form of this light? The light itself, it does not have any akar. And uska koi apna akar nahi. It is nirakar. The light is formless. So because it is formless, only it is not located at a particular place. It is non-localized light. So now, what about your body? Your body is located at a place. किसी ना किसी एक जगह पे है. But the light itself is not located in a place. It is unlocalized. It is pervading. So whereas the physical body has got a form and it is located. So now this formless, unlocated light is now pervading the formed and located body. How do you know the light pervades the body? What is the proof? What is the proof? If the light is not on my body, you will not be able to see it, right? So the very fact that the body is perceptible, the perceptibility of the body, or you can say the knowability of the body, इसको जानने का जो शक्ति है, the knowability of the body, or you can say the experienceability of the body, is because it is pervaded by the light, because of the pervasion of the light. So now, here are two things, unlocated formless light and located form body. And here takes place the confusion. We are very successful in getting confused every time. That is our glory. Now, what is that confusion? When the formless and unlocated light pervades the formed and located body, then the light also appears to be formed and located. What is the form of the light now? The light seems to have the shape of the body. Right? So light seems to have the shape of the body. And not only that, the light seems to have a shape. The light seems to be located in the body. And because outside the body, you are not experiencing the light. So for you, the light is equal to the space of the body only, right? So, and since the light is unexperienceable beyond the body, we commit this mistake. What is the mistake? That there is light located in the body or on the body. So therefore, light gets a seeming limitation, not actual limitation. It is a seeming limitation, right? And once the light gets limited, we begin to divide the light also, that there is one, not just in this body, but two other parts also. So we begin to divide the light also, that there is one light pervading this body, and between there is no light between this body and the next, because I don't experience the light in between, right? And then there is another person sitting here or another sitting here. So therefore there is another light. And thus one light seemingly becomes plural. One light becomes plural. So Advaitam, Dvaitam eva bhavat. That non-duality starts to appear like dual. Dvaitam eva, not really, like. So this aparichinnam, this undivided or unlocalized appears parichinnam. So aparichinnam, parichinnam eva bhavati. So the aparichin light looks parichin. So unlocated seems to become located, unlimited seems to become limited, or you can say formless seems to become form or with form. So all because of what? All because of the association with the body. So now what is Yamadharmaraja saying? He says the same thing has happened with regard to the consciousness also. So what is the original nature of the consciousness? It is unlocated. It pervades everywhere. And not only it is unlocated, it is nirakaram, formless also. And therefore, only it is indivisible. Akhanda Chaitanyam or Advait Chaitanyam. But what is the problem? When this very consciousness pervades this body, the consciousness also seems to have become located in the body. Therefore, I have got one body, I have got one consciousness. So one anatma and one atma. So for one body, one consciousness. That is our general conception. So and in between, I don't experience consciousness, nothing in between. So therefore, I conclude consciousness is only here in the body, not outside. And then I see another body, someone else is moving, कोई और चल रहा है, तो हाँ उसमें भी consciousness होगी, there also consciousness is there. So I see as soon as I see the second body which is pervaded by the consciousness, I conclude there is a second body and a second consciousness. So for you, one anatma and one atma, so what will happen? So many deha I will see. So many dehas, but that is not the problem. The problem is I see so many dehis. I see so many indwellers in the body. I see so many atmas. So not only the atma seems to be many, uh, the anatma seems to be many, but atma also. So atma seems also with the duality, it appears limited. Two things, non-dual appears dual, and the formless or the infinite appears limited. So plurality is mistake number one. Plurality is mistake number one. Limitation is mistake number two. So what is the third mistake I commit? I say after death, the Atma leaves the body and travel. So not only do I attribute the limitation to consciousness, I also talk about travel of the Atma. Atma is going to Swarglok, Naraglok, Pitrilok, and then I pray for Atma Shanti. So all these are successful mistakes we have all committed. So Yama Dharmaraja is saying here, no question of Atma being limited by the body. There is no question of Atma being divided. There is no question of Atma traveling from one place to another. Jayega kahan? Where will it go? Everywhere it is there only. Right? So what is traveling? Sukshma Sharir with the Pratibhim Chaitanya. Remember we saw earlier the Sukshma Sharir. So what they are all errors caused by the illusion because of the association with the body. So here Yamadharmaraja gives three examples in the next three verses. First is Agni Drishtant and Vayu Drishtant, and third is Surya Prakash Drishtant. So this is the Agni Drishtant. Fire, air and sunlight. So in this mantra, what is the example given? Fire. So Yamadharmaraja here pointing out the fire principle or Agni Tattva. Agni Tattva, the heat energy you can say. So if you know by the first law of thermodynamics, that by the law of conservation of energy, there cannot be increase or decrease in the energy. So therefore, this heat is pervading everywhere formlessly. It is not located in a place. It is all over. So how do you know? You know that the weather is so humid, so hot. No? So it's so hot these days. So you can instantly feel the heat. But when it's not, you don't feel it. Because transfer is taking place. At some places, the heat is localized more. At others, it is less. So do you see the humidity in the atmosphere? You do not. So you do not see the heat, you do not see the humidity, yet you can feel it. No, these days, especially in Assam, we are sweating a lot. Here it's a very humid temperature. So you do not see the heat, and from that it is very clear that heat does not have a form. Then where is this Agni Tattvam? Sarva Vyapakam Agni Tattvam. This all pervading, formless, unlocated fire becomes manifest when some fire is lit, like a log of wood. When you're burning a log of wood, then the wood, burning a log of wood, the all pervading fire, it begins to manifest in the log of wood. And now the wood gets associated with the Agni. So now when this all pervading Agni is manifest in the log of wood, what mistake I commit? I just think that because the wood is located in a place, I conclude that the fire is also located in the wood. Therefore, when somebody asks, where is the fire? What do we say? There in the wood. So in fact, the truth is the fire is not just there. The fire is not only in the log of wood, but the fire is beyond the log of wood also. That is why even if you are 10 feet away, beyond the log of wood, you can feel it. Sometimes when we are doing a homa, and then sometimes we put extra wood, and it becomes so hot, you feel like backing off. You feel like shifting away from that. So heat is there also. So this is the heat. Heat is the fire principle which is not seen. It is not just that visible fire that you are seeing. The fire with form. Roop Wali Agni. So fire principle. So therefore fire is not located, but it seems to be located. Because of what? Because of the manifesting medium. The manifesting medium is called upadhi. So the log of the wood is upadhi. It creates a seeming location to the fire. It creates an error in the mind. Therefore, ignorant people say fire is in the log. Whereas wise people say fire is all pervading. But it is manifest in the log. सब जगह है, लेकिन दिख रही है जहां आग जल रही है. So similarly, ignorant people say Atma is in the body. Wise people say Atma is all pervading. It is just manifest in the body. So even when that log of wood is totally destroyed, Agni is not destroyed. So when you remove like you can take a lamp and you remove the wick, जो उसकी बाती होती है, you take the wick and then don't think that the flame is destroyed. Flame is Agni Tattvam. Agni has lost its shape, which was given by the wick. But when the wick is removed, the shaped Agni becomes shapeless Agni. This is very beautifully discussed in Panchadashi, where the diya is compared to the body. We call that diya actually the mud part, that one, and then the oil in that diya is the prarabdha karma, and then the wick represents the sukshma sharir which burns. So the diya bati is the sukshma sharir, right? So as long as prarabdha is there, the lamp will become burning. So there the consciousness is glowing. And then when the prarabdha finishes, the consciousness will merge back into the total consciousness. So fire has not gone anywhere. So here also the wick has become the upadhi. It's a very long, detailed one, so I'll not go into full detail. Maybe next class we can add a bit more. So here we just look at the wick becoming the upadhi for the manifestation of the Agni Tattva. So now what is the mantra saying? Look at back to the mantra. Yatha ekaha Agni. So as there is only one fire principle, which is formless, unlocated, and therefore all pervading, and Bhuvanam pravishtaha. It pervades the entire creation. Sarva Bhuvanam. So all the creation, it is pervaded by this Agni Tattva. So the formless fire pervades the entire creation, and also it pervades a wick in the lamp, or it also pervades the log of wood, or it pervades the candle, or it pervades your kitchen fire, wherever you are burning. So when it pervades a log of wood, which means when you strike a match stick and then the log of wood catches fire, then pratirupa babhuvaha. It takes the formless Agni, it takes the form. It becomes babhuvaha, becomes. So it takes the different forms. So this unlocated fire assumes the form of the fuel or the log of wood. That is why, if you have ever been to a place where they forge iron, so when you look at the forged iron pieces which they are forging in the furnace, and you will see that the whole piece of iron, if it's a rod or it's a ball, it will appear glowing red. So it will appear like fire only. But the fire has taken the shape of the rod or the glowing rod, or in the shape of Agni. We saw this Agni, fire with Agni in Atma Bodh also. There also, the fire is appearing like a ball because it has taken the shape of that glowing iron ball. So the glowing iron which comes out of the manufacturing furnace, until it cools down, the shape of Agni is the shape of the iron piece. Once it cools down, then the iron piece is visible. So therefore, fire has the ability to take all these forms. Pratirupaha babhuvaha. It will take up all these forms. So it has a seeming form and location. And who is this? Who is responsible for this form? Rupam prati. So which form it needs to take will be determined by the manifesting medium. So what is the manifesting medium? Any fuel, any log of wood, it's the manifesting medium. So rupam prati, or you can say indhanam prati rupo bhabuva. Rupa bhabuva means assumes. So that formless Agni will take the form of the different manifesting medium so that it appears as having that form only. And because of this seeming location, we begin to count the number of fires, just like we are counting the number of bodies. So we say that in the same way that there are so many different fires. So all these are just like in the Atma also, all the Atmas, all the beings are one Atma only. All these are superimposed in the same way. So here in the mantra also, Ekah Atma. So just like one fire becomes many, this one Atma appears also many. One Atma also. There is only one Atma, and we are counting many Jivatmas. We also talk about Punyatma, Papatma. So we count many Atmas. But the very counting is born out of ignorance. So people, they ask how they are, you can appear so many. It is because it has this ability to take the shape and form of the object it is functioning through. Right. So like you can say about the so many fires are there. So the fire has not increased, the manifesting mediums are increased. The more manifesting medium you provide, the more you can see the fire. So similarly, the number of atma also never increases, but we successfully commit the mistake and we ask serious questions, also thinking that the teacher or the shastra is cornered. So Yam Dharma Raja here saying ek atma. So where is this atma? सर्वभूत अंतरात्मा pervades every being, जितने भी संसार में है. So what does the word being represent? स्थूल शरीरम. So stool sukshma shariram, sorry. So this is the bhutam. This they represent the medium through which this atma takes form. So every body represents like a log of wood, and each one is a fuel, and in each body the atma or the chaitanyam is there, which is expressed in the form of the prana shakti, the life principle, the prana shakti. So when I say it is a live body, the very life which represents sentiency, the chetanatvam, is the manifestation of one life principle. So sarva sharir antaratma eka eva. So now the formless atma seems to have taken pratirupaha. Rupam pratirupa bhuva. So just like that Agni took up different forms, this atma has also taken up different forms, right? So now the formless atma has a shape. So because consciousness is where it is right from the top of my body up to the toe of my body. In Jainism, they say that the size of the atma is the size of the body only. They say if it is a small body, then it's small atma and so on. So these are all conceptions born out of these kind of thinking only. So therefore, if you want to give the outline of my consciousness for you for us normally, it is the outline of my body only. And outside my body, there is no consciousness experienced by me. Therefore, I conclude that the consciousness is of manushya akara. It is of the shape of the human being, right? And shape of the consciousness will be determined by rupam, the body it pervades. So if you take an elephant sharira, the outline is elephant consciousness. If you take an ant, it will be ant consciousness, whatever the size. So whatever be the outline, that is the outline of the consciousness, and therefore it appears to be located. So consciousness is limited and consciousness is plural in number is the misconception that forms. And all these are appearances caused by the body. And bahihi cha at the end. This is the most important word. The fire is not only in the log of the wood, the fire is also beyond the log of the wood. Isse pare bhi hai. Always remember, it is not where you see it, but is also beyond where you see it. So the fire pervades beyond the log of wood also. But what is the problem? The fire beyond the log is invisible. The fire in the log is visible. So similarly, the consciousness in the body is experienceable. The consciousness beyond the body is non-experienceable. And where do we commit the mistake? We conclude that non-visibility is non-existent. So if that was the case, you can say air is also not there. Space is also nothing. That is commonly held view in science also. Now it has been corrected. So if it is invisible, it only means it is non-experienceable. So non-visibility does not prove non-existence. There are so many things, so many lokas that are there, but only the person of wisdom can experience these lokas. So we have assumed that consciousness is not experienced or beyond the body, therefore it is non-existent. So here he has clarified. Yamadharma Raja says, it is beyond the body. So sharirat vahi api chaitanyam vartate. So another example, similar example in the next verse. I think we have some time. Take it. वायुर्यथेको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्चः वायुर्यथेको भुवनं प्रविष्टो रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा रूपं रूपं प्रतिरूपो बहिश्चः. So just like in the previous mantra, the example was given for the Agni, here the Vayu, because Vayu is also a very subtle element, right? So same way as the previous mantra, Agni is replacing by the word Vayu. So whatever has been said with regard to Agni, you extend it to Vayu. So Vayu is Ekaha Vayu, that means it is unlocated, or Vayu is unlimited, relatively unlimited. You can understand with respect to the word. So it is one, unlocated and unlimited. And that one Vayu is manifest in different bodies. What is that manifested Vayu in the body? Prana. Right? Prana. But who is regulating? We saw the Atma is regulating that prana. Right? Even you can do it daily. When you do pranayama, you can increase your prana shakti, you can increase, decrease the flow of your prana. So that Vayu is manifest in different bodies as prana. So prana rupena, pranamaya kosha rupena, Vayu asti. So Vayu is manifest in every living being. And in between also Vayu is there. It's not there. That much you can know easily. The Vayu is here, it is outside. That is why we can breathe also. It is everywhere. Otherwise, I'll go to some place, I will not be able to breathe. So it is there everywhere, but it is in unmanifest form. And since it is not manifest, in between, we commit the same mistake that Vayu is located in the body, or Vayu has got limitation and Vayu is plural in number. Just like we commit the mistake in the case of Agni, same mistake we commit in the case of Vayu, and same mistake we commit mainly where we have to correct it in the case of the consciousness also. Right? Consciousness also. So Vayu is inside the body as well as outside also, and so on with consciousness. This is the second example. So I will not explain much here because mostly we have seen the concept in the previous one, right? And we'll just look at the next one also quickly because that is also a small one. Mantra is the same size, but the concept is already discussed. So Suryo yatha sarva lokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshuresh paya doshe ekas tatha sarva bhutantaratma na lipyate lok dukkhen baya. Suryo yatha sarva lokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshushe paya doshe एकस्तथा सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा न लिप्यते लोक दुःखेन बाह्य. So Surya yatha sarvalokasya chakshuhu. This Surya is the chakshuhu of is the eye of the whole universe. Sarvalokasya chakshu. Na lipyate chakshushayi bahya doshe. When it is functioning through the individual eyes, it is not afflicted by the faults of that individual eye. So there ekas tatha sarva bhuta antaratma. In the same way, there is one atma which is existing within all the beings. Na lipyate loka dukkhena bhai. It is not affected by the sorrows and joys of the world. The sorrows and joys belong to the Sukshma Sharira. So with the help of these two examples in the previous two mantras, Yama Dharmaraja has established that Atma Ekaha. Sarvagataha cha Atma. That is, it is one and all pervading. So now through this example, Yam Dharmaraja wants to show that not only Atma is one and all pervading, the all pervading Atma cannot be polluted by anything in the creation. So pervasion cannot cause pollution, because normally when Vayu pervades this hall, which hall has got some fragrance, then you can get the idea that Vayu will carry that fragrance. So Vayu becomes affected by that fragrance. So Vayu becomes fragrant because of this association, and this fragrant Vayu travels. That is why you are able to feel that smell. So generally we know association. That is why no, in Shastra no example is perfect. So something that is more subtle, some you have to remove. So Vayu has two qualities. Akash has one. So say you have to understand that those qualities will affect the example. But more or less we can get the idea. We have to get the idea. That is what Shrutima is saying. So similarly, we get that out. Atma gets associated with the body and mind, and therefore Atma may get also polluted. Polluted by what? Sukha Dukha. वही pollution है. So that is why we talk about some Mahatma or Duratma or Dushtatma. So we may get the doubt that we are calling someone a Dushtatma. That means his Atma is Dusht. So that, but what is Dusht there? His mindset. So Yamadharmaraja says that is also an erroneous conclusion. Atma is asangaha. Atma is in association with all, but it does not take either the positive or negative attributes of an object, right? So to convey this asangatatvam nature of the Atma, Yamadharmaraja takes the Surya Prakash Dishtanta, the sunlight. So in the early morning with the sunlight, you see the sunlight rising and spreading all over the earth. And then some of you might be familiar also. You do this, you worship the sun, you give arghya, so you say the mantra, then, so this sunlight is slowly spreading over the entire earth. In early morning, it is there in a very limited power, then it spreads all over. Huh? So this light, when it spreads, everywhere, if there is spreading over a book and there is dust over the book, so light does not become dusty. So light is pure, but light does not get the shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha, none of the properties of the illumined object. But it will illuminate the object. So the attributes of the illumined object do not affect the illuminator light. So if the light falls over the water, the light does not get wet. If the light falls over the fire, it does not get burned. So in the Gita is there, achedyam, ayam, adayam, ayam, akledya, ashoshya. So you cannot cut it, you cannot burn it, this atma, and so on. So you cannot dry it. So is it because this light is far away? No, light is intimately pervading the water, but it does not get wet. Similarly, the Chaitanyam also spreads all over the body, which is full of impurities. The Chaitanyam spreads all over the mind, which is also full of impurities. Rag, Dvesh, Kam, Krodh, Lobha, all these. So, but Atma Chaitanyam, it will have no Raga and Dvesha. So, this is the essence. So, if you look at the mantra quickly, Surya or the sunlight or Surya Prakash. Here we are not talking about the solar disk up there, and that is far away. Solar disk is located. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the solar light. So during the daytime. So solar disk has got a form, but solar light does not have a form. So that formless pervading light is here referred to as Surya. And what does it do? Sarvalokasya Chakshu. It is a very important example. In Vedanta Shastra also, Surya Prakash is repeatedly quoted. Krishna Bhagwan also borrows in the Bhagavad Gita also, Yatha Prakash, Yati Ekam, Krishnam, Lokam, Imam Ravihi, Shetram Shetri, Tatha Krishnam, Prakashyati Bharata, 13th chapter. So light illumines every object, consciousness also illumines every object. So illumines means makes the object knowable. It illumines is, in the case of consciousness, it is not like light kind of light. It is like through which you know. So similarly, every object is knowable because of this consciousness only. And how many such lights are there? Ekaha. Only one sun. Only one sun is enough to illumine everything in the creation. Therefore, the sun is called Lokaha Chakshu. It is the eye of the world. And then Na Lipyate Doshai. That sunlight spreads all over the world, but not tainted by the impurities. And therefore, Chakshushai Doshai. Bahya doshe. So all the inner impurities which are invisible, it is not affected by them, and not also the outer impurities which are dust, foul smell, etc. So therefore you should there are things which you can see, and there are things which you should not see. So when you see the things that are banned, you are not supposed to see. Because of seeing that, you are supposed to get papam. There are some things people tell you, if you abuse someone too much, it will become a part of your nature. So therefore, you have to avoid them. So therefore, this is depicted by the sun only. Sun does not get affected by anything that. So until the time we are that pure, we have to stay away from them. So once we identify ourselves with the light, we can understand that we are the same with the consciousness only. This consciousness also is my true nature, and by it only I am one with the whole universe within. So we'll wind up for today. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om.